I'm Doug McClure with Lure Promo. In this segment, I'm going to talk about artwork files and what's good for you to have on hand. When I worked for another company here in town, I had asked a client for their artwork so we could use it on a project. They emailed me a cell phone picture of their sign. This started a chain of events which ended up costing the company more money than we were going to make on that particular project, and we had to have graphic designers recreate the logos and make changes to those files in order for them to work for the project. When the processing company made a mistake with part of the recreated files that left a bad image on the product, it ended up in the end where we had to reproduce the product more times than we needed to. And while at the very end the client got exactly what they were looking for, it was just a very frustrating process. First off, let me say that while a picture of your logo can be a useful part of advertising, I guess, it's not an electronic file of your logo. Most likely when in the beginning you had a graphic designer or graphic artist put together a artwork file for you and they told you you only needed this one type of file. Well, times have changed as they always do, and in today's world you need to have an arsenal of files on hand, and it should be the norm. There are two species of files, raster and vector. Raster artwork is created for things such as photographs. The downside to raster artwork, that is, if it is enlarged, it will pixelate or become distorted, fuzzy. The second type of artwork is vector. This artwork is created with a vector-based program, and it allows it to be resized without distortion. It can be as large or as small as it's needed and it will always look sharp. Raster artwork is great for websites, printing on paper, and many other mediums, but those files are PSD, JPEG, TIFF, and PNG. Vectored files are what most of my suppliers and producers need because they can be resized for different items from down to pens all the way up to banners. Those file types are AI and EPS, and if you had a designer create an AI or EPS file and they converted that to a PDF, that could also be used for what I do. If you have questions, please contact me or your graphic designer and ask them about what you should have on hand next time. Another quick story. Recently I had a client that wanted a banner printed and some other items for a trade show. I had them contact a graphic designer and he laid out their banner. And I asked them to send over their artwork files to me so I could get to work on it. The producers for the products that I was making couldn't use the files, and after a quick conversation with the designer to see if he had anything better on hand, and he didn't, I called their office to let them know that I needed a little bit better file. The person I got on the phone was the office manager, and while I was explaining to her what I needed, she said the only type of art file she had on her computer was a zip file. I had her send me that file right over. You know, you're asking me what is a zip file, right? It is a folder that contained all of the artwork for their particular company, all the logos in vector and in raster. I also forwarded that over to the graphic designer so he could finish the banner correctly and it didn't have any fuzzy appearance. Sometimes you have what you need and you just don't know if it's there. So if you have a zip file, please look in it, see if the artwork's in it. You can save yourself a lot of money and a lot of frustration. One last thing. One of the most used files that we see is a one-color logo with your phone number on it. It can be used on almost every type of medium that you're going to either print or promotional product, banner, etc. It's the most simple kind. It's the most basic and it's also the most used. I do suggest having that artwork on hand and know what it looks like. If you still have any questions, please reach out to me at doug@lurepromo.com. I am Doug McClure with Lure Promo.